Hi, I'm Todd Ryan. I am a DCI Hall of Fame member. I have been on a practice field just like this for the past 50 summers. Well, actually, it's been 49 summers. You see, this year, all our practice fields were silent. You learn so much on a practice field, more than getting from spot A to spot B. You learn discipline. You learn how to help one another out, how to push through the pain, and most importantly, you learn how not to give up, how to go to the end. So, whatever you can do to help out the Corps, let's keep these practice fields full. Also, this summer I missed one other thing. I'm always calling the Corps up to attention, parade rest, and I missed that this summer. So I'm asking you all to put your drinks to the side and your snacks, and let's go through a few commands like you've all done years and years ago. So let's go. Stand up if possible, and Corps, parade rest. Step out with your left foot, cross your arms in front. Corps 10 hut. Corps, parade rest. Step out. Corps 10 hut. Now make sure you're participating. Let's bring the arms up and down. We'll try that. Corps, dress, center, dress, hit. Corps, ready, front, hit. Corps, dress, center, dress, hit. Make sure your elbows are out, that they're not sagging. And Corps, ready, front. All right, everybody in, one last time. Corps, parade, rest. Corps, 10 hut. Corps, dress, center, dress. Corps, ready, front. And center for the Vanguard. Please donate.
Pure imagination. Although one does not have to imagine the talent of Mr. William Witten. Holy mackerel. That was a bit of genius there, and in addition to a bunch of talent. And poor Todd Ryan. It is lonely out there on the football field these days. When I did the telethon for DCI a couple of weeks ago, I was with Dan Atchison in the middle of an abandoned Lucas Oil Stadium. It felt otherworldly. It's just not right without drum corps on the field and in the tunnels. So it's that darn COVID that has done that to us. It's all the uncertainty that COVID brings. It's impacted the activity we love and perhaps imperiled some of the organizations that make it all go. Think back to March. All the preparations churning along, everybody getting ready for spring training, the shows well developed, the concepts in place, the excitement building toward a new season, and then screech, hit the brakes, smash your head on the windshield. What are we going to do now? And we're still figuring out what we're going to do now. There's still a lot of uncertainty. So that's why we have to be ready to march on into 2021, because we don't know what's going to happen, when or how. If you can give, go ahead. Please give to make sure the Vanguard is there with everybody else when we're ready to take that field once again, whenever we get that green light. We're going to beat this COVID thing, but we got to be ready to go when we do. A special performance is ahead for you. You will not want to miss this. First, we'd like to meet a special lady, Miss Lizzie Rivera.
Hi, my name is Lizzie Rivera. I currently serve as one of the drum majors, and this is my second season with the Santa Clara Vanguard. One of my first memories of Vanguard is watching them perform Les Mis in 2013. I'll never forget the rush of emotions I felt as I watched them perform. I remember watching Noe conduct the corps and leaning over to my parents and saying, "That's where I want to be one day." Being a clarinet player, I never thought being in drum corps was an option for me. I thought that even if I were to learn a brass or percussion or even color guard, I would never be able to make a corps like Santa Clara. I knew that if it was meant for me to be a member, that it would happen at the right time. One of my first memories as a member is birthday brunch in 2019. I'll never forget what it felt like to stand in the middle of the horn line in the corps hall as they performed Clowns. Looking around me and seeing all of the emotions going through everyone, including myself, I knew that I had found my home. My first camp was in March of 2019, and I was really nervous about flying all the way to Santa Clara and not really knowing what was in store for me. I was new to the activity, and I didn't know a whole lot about what drum corps really was. I remember during snack, I was standing by myself eating a PB&J when I couldn't find any of my friends from home. Our horn sergeant, Elise, walked up to me, introduced herself, and began to ask questions about myself. Soon after, she invited some other veteran members to join us in a conversation. Everyone was so genuine and really seemed to care about making me feel welcome. Going into my first summer of drum corps, I felt like I was still figuring out who I was. I was quite shy for most of my life, which is hard for a lot of people to believe, and I think a lot of that came from self-doubt. I was even told in high school that if I wanted to be in a leadership position, I wasn't allowed to be shy. Through the years, I had grown out of being timid, but I felt myself wanting to go back to that state when I became nervous about going into something new like drum corps for the first time. I didn't know what to expect of anything going into that first summer. I was working with the best of the best, the people I used to watch from the stands and view as gods. Our staff has always been so encouraging and helped me overcome so many obstacles in life and with Vanguard. The opportunities I've had because I've overcome that shyness have been incredibly rewarding. The best part about being in Vanguard is the people that I've had the pleasure to meet and work with. Every day you get to wake up next to your best friends who have become your family very quickly. They see you at your best and your worst, and they still love you for it. Everyone is so humble, talented, and unique. You learn something new about them every single day. We are working our hardest and giving it our all for the people next to us. It's not about me, it's about the membership, the staff, the alumni, the fans. It's all of us as a family. Vanguard is full of people of all walks of life who want to be the change in the world. We want to set that standard, the Vanguard. When you're having a bad day, you know you can turn to the person next to you and they'll help pick you back up. During this time of COVID-19 being on everyone's minds, I found myself being very thankful for so many things. I'm thankful I finally had some time to rest and spend some time with my family. I'm thankful to still have the ability to talk with my friends and family around the country thanks to modern technology. I'm thankful to have food to eat, air to breathe, and a bed to rest in. And lastly, I'm just thankful to be alive. There's so many uncertainties that come with every single day, and all of the bad news that you're seeing on TV. It's really hard to feel like you can't be in a negative state of mind. But I found that talking with my friends and family, I've really been able to find the good in all of this, as weird as that may sound. Though 2020 hasn't been what any of us thought it would be, I know that there's a bigger plan for all of us. I'm very confident in what is in store for the Vanguard and for the future of this community and this activity. Everyone is working so hard to make sure that we have an incredible thing that we can come back to. I'm very humbled and very blessed to have been a part of all that Vanguard has done during this time and what is yet to come of the organization. I'm so excited to be able to come back next summer and to continue that legacy that everyone has set forth before us.
Don't bother them.
The 2020 Santa Clara Vanguard horn line in full voice and in the clouds. You know, I measure things in the broadcast booth during a performance by the Rondo goosebump meter. They're up. It's a 10. We got to keep sending in those clowns for many, many years to come here. You know, those guys did that on their own, and it just underscores the talent, first of all, in the organization, but the dedication to the Vanguard organization and what it means to today's members, all you alums out there, and to all of us fans. The question was put to me, what does the Santa Clara Vanguard mean to you? Well, I jotted down a few notes. Santa Clara to me means innovation, legacy, and excellence. Those three words, I think, really sum it all up. You know, from Gail Royer's early horn charts to Fred Sanford's musical percussion writing, Santa Clara Vanguard set a new standard in our activity with the dawning of the 70s, and they continued to push the standard. You had some of the greatest visual teams bring in brand new concepts and drill to the field. First time I saw an asymmetrical drill out there was like, whoa, we don't have to march same formations on both sides of the 50. Look at that. That's cool. That's amazing. Santa Clara Vanguard brought that to the field. The members, and this is the neatest part because you guys have changed so much, especially in recent years, in terms of look, in terms of show concepts. I wouldn't call you a chameleon core, but you have taken so many styles and so many concepts and taken them to new levels. So it comes back to the members. And the members continue to believe and they continue to excel with whatever the staff challenges them with. And there's been some challenges out there. So it's that innovation, legacy, and excellence. And for me personally, it's a lot of shared moments. And that people have asked me over the years, what's your favorite show? I'm hard pressed to give you a favorite show, but I can tell you some favorite moments, like that Impact back in 1971, like that Impact in Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, like the ballad in the Phantom of the Opera, like the ballet for Martha, that beautiful treatment of Appalachian Spring. There are so many Santa Clara moments, the interweaving in the young person's guide to the orchestra. Now I'm spanning decades here in a couple sentences, but that's, you know, at this point in the activity, that's how far back the Vanguard and I go together. There are a lot of memories. There are a lot of magical moments. So I hope that my small part here has helped as we all work together to keep these moments coming, to get our activity that we love back on the field, again, to punch COVID in the nose, and to wish many more happy and productive decades for the Santa Clara Vanguard. Ryan, thanks for letting me guest in. Mr. Dan Potter is going to take it from here.
I have to follow Send in the Clowns. Seriously, Steve. Thanks for the setup. Man, that was powerful. And just like you can probably tell, goosebumps, tears, just fantastic. And we've got many more memories coming up in this hour. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is the 8 o'clock hour of Front and Center in support of Santa Clara Vanguard and Vanguard Music and Performing Arts. As Steve said, my name is Dan Potter, for a long time one of the announcers of Drum Corps International, host of the DCI Field Pass podcast, and the guy whose ugly mug you see on the Jumbotron, 20 foot tall in some select stadiums, doing interviews with many of the performers. Man, what a weird summer, what an awful summer of not being able to see those performers and see the friends that I've made over the decades in Drum Corps International. But it's been nice to be asked to do these and to help out, not only with DCI, but with individual member corps like Vanguard and their parent organization, VMAPA. If I didn't have this kind of stuff to focus on this summer, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been even more stir crazy and grumpy than I have been. So thank you, Vanguard, for asking me to do this. Our hour of live programming, we have some amazing content lined up for you. You're not going to want to miss my interview with Sandy and Paul Rennick. That's coming up in this hour. Got another powerful member profile to show to you. We'll also continue our adventure through the years, and we'll bring you to the decade of the 2000s. In fact, we've got 81 coming up here in just a second. All of that and more coming up in this hour of Front and Center. But of course, the whole idea is for you to give in support of Vanguard. If you're a fan of Vanguard, and I'm going to talk about my own personal love for Vanguard a little bit later on this hour. If you're a fan, if you're alumni, former staff member, if you have any kind of stake in this incredible organization, please donate now. Don't give us a heart attack and wait until the last minute. And plus, you know, I want bragging rights over Ron DeNiro and Brant Crocker and Ryan Turner. I want this 8 o'clock hour to just like, it's prime time, baby. Let's make some donations to Vanguard. Let me see. We're going to start this hour, as I said, with the 1981 championship show. That was Montreal. That was my last year marching with the Geneseo Knights. I was there in Olympic Stadium, saw this performance live. It was historic, especially coming off the 1980 year, which was so groundbreaking, but maybe a little bit ahead of its time. The judges caught up with Vanguard in 1981, I think. It was an incredible, incredible show. That and much more coming up. But first, let's rewind back to 1981.
Hello, and welcome back. Been gone for a little bit, but happy to be back. And I've got some incredible news for you. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, I think it's showing you some incredible news. We broke the $100,000 mark, and not by just a little, but by a lot. We're well over $112,000. And now a little bug in my ear told me, let's challenge everybody out there. Let's see if we can't get that to 150,000. So without any pressure, without any guilt, with a lot of gratitude and love for all of you out there that are being so incredibly generous with your hard-earned money and your incredible amounts of love for this organization, and knowing how important it is to the thousands of people before and for the potential thousands that are coming in the future. We just put the challenge out to you again. We broke the $100,000 mark, and now let's see if we can't go to 150. And to get us there are going to be people that are generous like this, like these folks. Mike Whiteman, $153, and he says, thank you, SCV. Carrie Reed, $625. We love you, Santa Clara. In memory of Brad Andrew, Paul Olivo donated $50. Looks like Gary Chin in Maryland donated $576. Edward Higgett, he first saw Santa Clara Vanguard in Boston way back in 1968, and he's been a huge fan ever since, $104. David LaFontaine from 1974's Goon Squad. He was in the lead baritones. He donated $1,074. Cheryl Bauer, $416, and she says, thank you, SCV, for the incredible experience you provided for my son, Zach, and my daughter, Shannon. Brian Harston, $553, SCV truck drivers, and he supported the SCV truck crew. I see. Okay, Sandy says Sandy favorite brother. I'm not sure what that means. $159. Sandy Rennick. Oh, Sandy Rennick. Got it. All right. $159. Tom Zekai, I believe, in memory of George Kunick, a true fan. And then my friend Ray Atani from way back, in memory of one of the greatest drill designers ever, Myron Rosander, he donated $53. Thank you for being my friend even before Santa Clara. And then Sharon Scare, in memory of her great brother, a friend of mine, Rich Scare, $576. And then, out of the blue, one of the greatest donations we've had all night, in the amount of $10,084, Mr. Jeff Lang. And he says, I think if you've had the privilege of being in part of this organization, it's guaranteed to change the arc of your life. Go SCV forever. This is just a small sampling of the kinds of incredible donations that we're receiving here at the headquarters of this live broadcast. And again, it may sound like the same thing over and over, but I can't say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you. And again, it doesn't matter if it's $1 or, like I said, $10,000. We appreciate everything that you're doing for this organization. And let's hit 150,000. Let's see what we can do together. All right. Well, we are in the hour 5. And to those of you that have just tuned in, welcome. As you can see, we're having some good news. To everyone else, welcome back. And thank you again. There are a variety of ways in which you can help us tonight, of course. You can always go to the website, scvanguard2020.com, and make a one-time donation. And if you donate over $53, we'd love to give you one of our gifts while supplies last. But maybe even more fun is our peer-to-peer fundraising aspect of this program, in which you can start your very own fundraiser, like on your Facebook page. And because what you can do is actually link the www.scvanguard2020.com, and then Facebook will actually prompt you to see if you want to add a donation button to that. It's really, really easy. It doesn't take more than 3 clicks, I think. And what happens then is that your friends and your family that don't have anything to do with the activity, they're more likely to give to you than they are to this organization. I know that I have a whole ton of friends that are from the fire service, where my career is. They don't know what the Drum and Bugle Corps activity is, but they sure do like what I do here, so I'm sure I'm getting donations from them, right? Okay. Anyway, whatever you raise on behalf of the organization, all that money goes directly into the Front and Center program. So again, that's peer-to-peer fundraising. This hour, we're going to be taking you through the mid-2010s with such amazing shows as The Bartok Show, The Devil's Staircase, Music of the Starry Night, Les Miserables, and then my very favorite, Scheherazade.
My name is Matthew Destante. I am a third-year member of the Santa Clara Vanguard. I marched in 2018, 2019, and technically 2020. And this year, I am the Contra section leader for the Vanguard. I'm currently a double major at Cal State Long Beach, tuba performance, music education. It's a good time. Some of my first memories of Vanguard were in 2018. The first audition camp I ever went to, I had no clue kind of what Vanguard was about, but I remember the first time we did anything breathing related, just getting there, whipping out our balloons, which I thought was just hilarious at the time, and I just immediately felt better at what I was doing. The educational team just really soared through. That year, I remember a lot from both Mark Nichols and Chip Krotz was a very big inspiration of mine. I knew right away from the first audition camp, I was like, I fit in here, I love this atmosphere. As an educator myself, just seeing those things that the educational staff was bringing to the table really just astounded me. I was just so happy to be there, and I 100% felt home right from getting a contract at the first audition camp. You know, how much the staff really cares for us and what they go through to make sure that the members are having a great experience. So pre-tour with these past 2 years, 2018, 2019, has just been amazing. You know, you get to move in with your best friends. The Contra section alone is already very tight, so there's just some amazing experiences all around. The best part of SCV by far is the community. The network that the alumni, staff, and members have built up is so incredibly strong. And seeing how much we all care for one another is so unbelievably heartwarming. Right from day one of my audition, I knew that I would fit in at the Vanguard, and the membership and staff welcomed me with open arms. I didn't feel outcast or weird or alone. I felt right at home, and I knew from day one that I was right where I was supposed to be. Something Matt Hartwell always says that is very near and dear to my heart is, we're not here to win medals or get rings. We're here to make better people. And to me, the most gratifying thing about being at the Santa Clara Vanguard is seeing who the members are when they come in and seeing who they become when they're finally ready to leave.
Can you imagine being so fortunate to be able to march with your best friend for 6 years and to still be marching with that best friend? That is incredible. And that's just, I mean, that's the kind of legacy that Drum Corps leaves with all of us. Interpersonal connections, friendships that last a lifetime, people that we can go away from for years, meet up with again, and pick up with like we saw them yesterday because we had that common bond. Thanks for a great story. God, this is fun. Dan Potter, it's the 8 o'clock hour of Front and Center. I hope you've donated. If you haven't, please donate now to keep this legacy going of Vanguard Music and Performing Arts. Support them, right? In fact, let me ask you this question. You're a charitable person. Why do you give? Why are you philanthropic at all? Do you invest in new ideas? Do you want to give back the value that you got and pass it on to others? You can help do that tonight, right now. And it's what you should be doing. Please donate now to our Front and Center broadcast. For Santa Clara Vanguard, we want you to stand up and give. Front and Center. Okay, enough preaching. I'm really excited about this next segment. Number one, we're going to check in on the Mellows, see if they're still sustaining, see how Carl's holding up. And I guess we'll just start out with the interview. I enjoyed it. This is the first time, all the field passes that I've done, I've interviewed Sandy Rennick separately. I've interviewed Paul separately, front sideline, usually after a performance. I've never talked to the two of them together. And I really enjoyed this. Enjoy some of the highlights from my chat with Sandy and Paul Rennick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's spend some time with a true dynamic duo. They are the co-percussion caption heads of Vanguard. Welcome the Rennicks, Sandy and Paul Rennick. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, Dan. Good to see you.
Hi, Dan.
Good to see you. We've never really gotten, the three of us, the chance to do this, and I've always wanted to sit down for an extended interview with the two of you. What's the process like, Paul? Do you guys sit next to each other, trade ideas while you're composing? Does the front ensemble melody get written first and then the battery? How do you guys work it?
You know, at Santa Clara, I'm fortunate, really fortunate to have a voice at the table in terms of programming, in terms of the music. I remember programming some front ensemble solo moments for the first time, like in the mid 2000s. And it was just it was an opportunity for it to stand on its own, which up to that point, I think it was primarily accompanimental, or it was like in the mix of many other things. But I think we've sort of expanded the moments where they can sort of hold it on their own. And that allows a lot of other people in the corps, mainly the visual side of the equation, to do more things. They're freed up to do many different things. So I think that the way we work best is to create parameters and limits, and I'll try to be as clear as I can with Sandy, and I'll say, here's what I think should happen. And then, you know, a lot of times she'll stew on it for a while and think about it, and then we'll come back.
Anybody who is a percussion aficionado in this activity, you could probably put blindfolds on them, play them a snippet of a Rennick drum line, and they'll say, oh, that's a Paul and Sandy Rennick line. There is a definite style to your voicings. And Paul, I think in the battery, it has a lot to do with the way you use the accent drum and the tenors. Your voicings are unique in the battery. Fair to say? Yeah,
you know, I think that's the goal of any composer, is to have a recognizable voice. You hear certain things the way it should go in your head, and it takes practice and work to sort of figure out how to get it to come out the way you want it to hear it. I think that's a good thing. What you're saying is, I think that's kind of the aim of what we're doing.
Well, one thing that I totally disagreed about doing was, and what he's referring to is,
Good.
is well, there have been several, but the most recent
Many.
one is My Body is a Cage. I love the tune. It's great. And yeah, that was Paul telling me, like, we're starting the show with, he was like, this piece that, we have, like, in the iTunes library is like the tune, all the music that's been pitched previously and whatnot. And yeah, it was the Peter Gabriel cover of My Body is a Cage. And, I usually just ignore him for the first couple of months that they're having design calls. And I'm just like, talk to me when you're ready, And then, yeah, the show's going to start this way. But we're not playing it's not the tune. You can't play the melody. It's not a 45, it's going to be this much time, and it just needs to be based on this. But don't play the melody. Don't play the, don't do any of the, and I was so mad. That was probably the closest we've come to like fighting in a long time. Like, that was a big one. And I was just so mad and I think he knows the madder I am about something, it'll turn out better in the long run.
What's your favorite SCV show you didn't write?
That's kind of easy for me. When I aged out of drum corps in the 80s, and then I'm from Allentown, and I went to college in Pennsylvania. And so I remember following the drum corps shows from the Pittsburgh area back to Allentown. And the 1987 Vanguard, to me, was one of the most memorable, emotional things that I had seen. I still remember to this day a show that I saw in Erie, Pennsylvania. It was kind of a cement sunken bowl. And I remember it was not that long of a drive from where I was going to school to get there. So I drove there, and I was by myself, and I sat in the audience, and I swear there must have been only like 500 people in the whole place. And it was one of the most memorable, stellar performances. I can argue that might have been the peak performance that I had seen that year.
Is again another no-brainer for me. It was the 1999 SCV show. It was my second year teaching, and these were in the days where, like, you were on the road all summer. There's one teacher, and you're on the road all summer. So you really had the entire tour to see everybody, because at that time, retreats happened at the end of every show. You didn't leave until the show was over. So, there was a lot of seeing everybody else. And I'll never forget the first time we saw SCV, and I looked at Paul and I said, I am going to be a fan for life. I literally said those words in 1999. And every show that we were at with them through their victory gig at finals in Madison, I think that year, we saw every time we were at the same show. I always made a point to see them. I remember just hearing the music for and thinking, I've never heard anything like this. Seeing, there are moments where the horn player sections would put down their horns and do just so much about it. I thought was so different than anything I had seen at that. Now, again, my knowledge of the activity was not that deep yet, but at that time, it just made such an impact. To this day, like, I have goosebumps right now just talking to you about it.